The day began as any other for James, a single father with tired eyes and worn shoes, carrying the weight of a fractured past and uncertain future. But by sunset, everything he believed about kindness, loss, and hope would be irrevocably changed. "Sir, I think your son dropped this." The words came softly, almost a whisper, but the trembling in the little boy's voice shattered James's weary heart. When he looked down, a small, scruffy backpack lay abandoned on the rain-slick sidewalk. The boy's tear-streaked face was hidden beneath a soaked hood, yet the desperation in his eyes was unmistakable. What James didn't know was that returning this lost backpack would lead him into a secret that had the power to heal broken souls and unlock a future none could have predicted. It was a chilly April afternoon in a small, weather-beaten neighborhood on the edge of the city, a place where cracked sidewalks echoed the silent footsteps of dreams deferred, and the scent of wet earth mingled with distant car exhaust and fading cherry blossoms. James's coat, threadbare, at the collar, hugged his lean frame as he made his way home from the factory, his breath a visible rhythm in the crisp air. His thoughts were tangled, as always. How to keep his son fed, how to face the lonely nights since his wife left, and how to hold together the fragile pieces of his own heart. He glanced down at the silver watch on his wrist, a gift from his late father, its cracked glass a daily reminder of time lost and memories that refused to fade. The watch had stopped ticking months ago, much like James felt his own life had stalled. At the corner of Maple and 8th, as a sudden spring drizzle began, James noticed a small figure crouched beside a bench. The child was no older than 6 or 7, with tangled dark hair plastered to his face by rain. Beside him lay a backpack soaked and forgotten. "Excuse me, little one," James called gently. The boy flinched but did not respond. Instead, his thin fingers clutched the wet fabric of the bag as if it were the last thread connecting him to the world. Something about the boy's vulnerability pried open a long-sealed part of James's heart, a part he thought had been buried with his wife's final departure 2 years ago. "Did you lose this?" James asked softly, kneeling beside the child. The boy's eyes met his, wide, terrified, but glimmering with hope. I think so," the boy whispered, voice trembling. "My mommy's gonna be mad," James's brow furrowed. The boy's words echoed a fear James knew all too well. The fear of disappointing those we love, the silent weight of secrets hidden in shadowed rooms. "Where's your mommy now?" James probed gently, but the boy only shook his head, clutching the backpack tighter. As the rain thickened, James's phone buzzed, a text from his son Noah checking if he was almost home. The reminder stung, but his attention was riveted to the small stranger beside him. "Maybe I can help," James offered, warmth rising through the cold drizzle. "Come on, let's find your mom." The boy hesitated, then nodded. Together, they started walking through the drizzling streets, a silent pact forming between two strangers adrift in their own storms. The boy's name was Eli. His clothes were worn, his shoes thin, and his eyes held a sorrow too heavy for his years. As they walked, Eli's story unfurled in cautious fragments. His mother, struggling and distant, a small apartment cluttered with unpaid bills, and whispers of a secret she desperately guarded. James felt the familiar knot of helplessness tighten. The city, with its sprawling faces and indifferent bustle, seemed a vast ocean of loneliness where children like Eli could drown unnoticed. They arrived at a modest apartment building, paint peeling and windows dimmed by grime. Eli's fingers trembled as he pointed to the second-floor window. "That's home," he said. "But my mommy, she's sick. She doesn't want anyone to know." James's heart clenched. The word sick carried an echo of fear, of loss, of battle, of desperation. "Let's see if she's okay," James said. They climbed the creaky stairs, the air thick with the scent of old wood and something bitter, like unspoken pain. At the door, James knocked softly. A woman answered, a face pale and drawn, eyes rimmed red, the weight of years pressed upon her shoulders like a storm cloud. "Eli, you found your backpack," she murmured, voice brittle. James introduced himself, explaining how he found the bag. The woman's eyes flickered with a fragile gratitude, but there was a shadow lurking beneath her words. "Thank you," she said, voice cracking. "But it's hard for us right now." James's gaze softened. "Maybe I can help. I have a son too." She hesitated, then, in a breathless rush, confided the secret Eli had tried to shield. She had been diagnosed with a serious illness, a quiet battle waged behind closed doors. She had hidden it from her son, trying to keep her world from shattering. James listened, the room around him shrinking to the fragile beat of a mother's love fighting despair. Over the weeks that followed, James became a quiet anchor for Eli and his mother. His own grief gave way to empathy, a purpose born from shared pain. Noah and Eli grew close, their laughter a fragile light piercing through the gloom. James helped with groceries, school runs, and even doctor visits. One evening, as spring finally bled into summer, Eli's mother sat beside James on the worn couch, clutching a small music box. Her mother's. "I thought I was broken," she whispered. "But you showed me. Maybe I'm becoming." Tears pooled in James's eyes as he reached out. The music box played a gentle, haunting melody, their wounds beginning to heal with every note. Months later, the sun rose golden over the city, casting long shadows of hope through the apartment window. Eli ran barefoot through the hallway, his mother watching with a smile that hadn't graced her face in years. James stood nearby, his cracked watch glinting softly in the morning light, a symbol of time mended and new beginnings. Noah held Eli's hand, their bond unspoken but unbreakable. James breathed in the scent of fresh coffee and blooming flowers. Outside, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, life finds a way to bloom again. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.